My brothers and sisters in Islam, given the fact that Valentine's Day is around the corner, I would have talked about the importance of maintaining love and compassion in a spousal relationship. I would have shared with you how the Prophet ﷺ extended his love and compassion towards his wives. And I would have spoken about love and compassion in general. What Islam says about extending love and compassion towards your other half. Not just on one silly commercial day of the year, but how important it is to extend that mercy and compassion every single day of our lives. But I'm not going to start off today's khutbah talking about love. I am going to bring your attention towards the total opposite of love. I am going to talk to you about hate, about hatred, about bigotry, animosity. As we are seated here, brothers and sisters, not even 72 hours has passed since the heinous and hideous murder of 3 Muslim students in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Murders, killings, and executions that were fueled by hatred, animosity, and bigotry. It was an act that resulted in the loss of 3 admirable, outstanding, exemplary people who were not only loved by their immediate family and loved ones and friends, but were an example and model to their associates, colleagues, and community at large. They were 3 examples of people who were not just good Muslims and faithful to the seed of religion, but they were also loyal to the soil of the United States of America, who were raised by families in this country, grew up in their communities in this country, and who spent their whole lives in this country. As we all know, the initial response in media was a little flaky and flimsy. But thanks to social media, light was brought upon their situation. Upon the situation of these 3 students who were on their way to thriving futures, who were so full of life. The couple, Diya and Yusr, were just married a little over a month ago. Diya, an aspiring dental student, and his wife, soon to follow. And the wife's sister, Razan, who was a design major with her mind zeroing in on pursuing an education in architecture. These full-spirited, aspiring young adults with so much potential, their lives were taken away, fueled by hatred, bigotry, and animosity. Media can make up whatever stories they want to make about a parking dispute. But you don't kill 3 people over a parking dispute. There is no doubt, brothers and sisters, that this was a very tragic event for the family and the close loved ones and their associates. And there is no doubt that their deaths were a loss for this Muslim ummah. And there is no doubt that as I am speaking at this moment, There is another innocent life that is being lost. Another family that is being torn apart. Another set of parents losing their children. Another child being orphaned. Another family being pushed out of their house. Being forced to seek refuge in some tent or the shade of a tree. There is no doubt that at this moment there is someone who is dying of hunger and thirst or not being able to receive medical attention. There is no doubt that we are living in very trying times on a global level, on a national level, and on a local level. But everything that we see with our eyes, everything that we hear about or that we read about, this is all a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything good or bad that happens to us, to our community, to our nation, or to this world, to any one of us or anyone around us, is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only is it a test for the people who are directly involved, but it is a test for the people around them, and the people around them, and the people around them, and ultimately a test for the entire world. A bala for the entire world to see how they react, to see how they respond, to see how we conduct ourselves, how we carry ourselves, and how we behave in the aftermath of such tests. And there's not a single person who is breathing in this hall today or anywhere that is excluded from being tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Each and every single one of us is being tested as we go about our day. Someone is being tested on the campus of their college. Someone is being tested sitting in their cab. Someone is being tested at their business or workplace. Someone is being tested in their home. Someone is being tested as they are spending time online. And someone is being tested in the playing field. And there are different aspects of these tests. Someone's character is being tested. Someone's patience is being tested. Someone's strength is being tested. And someone's authority is being challenged. If I were to compliment you, this is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to see how you respond and how you react. How my compliment affects you internally. Do you become full of pride and arrogance? Or do you show humility and restraint? If I humiliate you, that is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to see how you respond. To see if you let that remark ruin your day. To see if you respond in a harsh manner or in backbiting. If someone pats you on the back, it is a test. If someone punches you in the stomach, that is also a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the life that we are living, every morning that we wake up, we are opening our eyes to a test. And there is no doubt about it. And we are all tested in different ways, based on the capacity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not put a burden on a person, إلا وسعها, except that that person is able to withstand it, has the capacity to bear it. Someone is being tested as an imam. Someone is being tested as the member of an administration. Someone is dealing with being a father, dealing with being a husband, a son, or a sibling. A sister, a woman is being tested in her role of being a mother or a wife or a sister or a daughter. Someone is being tested as a student or as a teacher. Someone is being tested as a boss or as a subordinate. Someone is being tested as a human being. And last but not least, we are all being tested as a Muslim. What is a Muslim? A person who believes in one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one God, without any partner. A person who believes in all of his books and all of his angels and in life after death and the day of resurrection and being held accountable, the existence of hell and heaven, and all of the prophets who were sent to mankind to guide them, to teach them how to react and respond in the face of a test. How to react in life. And from all of those prophets, we believe the last prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who came after Isa alayhi salam, to be the last and final prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are being tested for having this belief, for adopting this faith, for living our lives according to the teachings of Islam, the teachings of peace and love, the teachings of gifts and hugs, the teachings of humility and selflessness, the teachings of loving for others what you love for yourself. A religion that calls on us to bow our heads down before none other than the one who gave us our life. To worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not once a blue moon, not once a week, not once a day, but at 5 different times throughout each and every single day of our mature lives. A religion that is based upon giving zakah and a certain percentage of your wealth to those who are less fortunate. A deen that is based on fasting an entire month to develop a conscience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To develop sympathy towards those who go hungry month after month in their lives. We are being tested because we believe in a religion that pivots around offering pilgrimage once in a person's lifetime. Whoever is financially and physically sane and able to do so, to reflect on the sacrifices that Ibrahim alayhi salam and his family made in order to submit to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what we are being tested for this belief. And you know what? Someone doesn't even have to believe in this. Even if they look like someone who believes in this faith, they are tested. So brothers and sisters, each one of us are tested as we are Muslims. And we are tested at different levels and in different ways. Someone who has a beard is being given a harsh look. A sister wearing hijab is being stared at. Yesterday, my wife on the intersection of Williams and West Esplanade was shown the middle finger with my 2 kids in the back seat. There is a Muslim who is being harassed and disrespected because being Muslim at their business place or at their workplace. Someone with less talent or credentials is given priority over the Muslim who is more qualified for a particular job. Now, is everyone like this in the world? No. I'm definitely not stereotyping every single non-Muslim. I am not painting every single non-Muslim with the same brush. And there are many, and it would be fair to say that most people around us are nice, are compassionate and are kind, respectful and accommodating to us and our religious practices. But here and there, we are faced with an individual. On an individual level, or as a community, or as an ummah, we will be faced with a test. And let me not use the word test, but as we will be faced with a challenge. A challenge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to see what we do about it, how we react and respond, and how we carry ourselves in the face of that challenge. Likewise, the loss of our dear brother Diya and his wife and his sister-in-law is a challenge for us. No doubt it is a loss. But this serves as a challenge for us to see how we react and how we respond and what lesson do we take from this. We all know that this crime was fueled by hatred and bigotry. And there are many outlets, even now in the media, who are constantly promoting hatred towards Islam and Muslims. We even have a governor who goes around babbling things against Muslims that even non-Muslims hear and they're like, shaking my head and embarrassed about. Should we be upset? Sure. Should we feel disappointed and targeted? That's their whole point. But we should not let our disappointment and we should not let our emotions get to the point where we fall into the same pit that they are digging for us. And one thing we should not feel is ashamed of being Muslim. One thing we should not feel is being scared of being a Muslim. With that being said, as a family man myself, with a wife and 2 boys, should we be more aware of our surroundings? Of course. Should we be more mindful about who is around us? For sure. Should we be a little overcautious in our homes, in our businesses, and when we go shopping and when we travel? Why not? Especially for our sisters who are faithful to the hijab. Be watchful, yes. And at the same token, we should get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should reconnect with the Quran. We all have tests in our life. We are all faced with challenges. And the best way to overcome our challenge is to resort to the Quran. The Surah Kahf that the Prophet ﷺ encourages us to recite every Friday, that I have been beating the drums about many times. It shares a story of a group of youngsters who were at the crossroads between saving their faith, preserving their faith, protecting their faith, and losing their lives. They sought the protection of a cave on the way from fleeing that situation. They went into this enclosure in a mountain to protect their faith. And immediately after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wraps up that story, in the same surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاتْلُ مَا أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ كِتَابِ رَبِّكَ لَا مُبَدِّلَ لِكَلِمَاتِهِ وَلَنْ تَجِدَ مِنْ دُونِهِ مُلْتَحَدًا. And recite from what has been revealed to you, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, from the word of your Lord, from the book of your Lord. La mubaddila li kalimatihi. There is nothing that can change His kalimat, His words, His will, His command. Walan tajida min dunihi multahada. And there is no one else that you will find as a place of refuge other than Him. The people of the Kahf went into a cave. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the Quran to seek refuge from. This is our cave, folks. This is our protection. This is our solace and our peace and comfort. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran that after every calamity comes ease and comfort, you better believe in that. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that He rewards patience beyond our imagination, you better put faith in that. When He tells us that He has made a better place for those who believe in Him in the hereafter, then accept that. When He tells us to be inspired by the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then we should not steer away from it. This is our refuge, the Quran, the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now in the aftermath of what happened, a few particular lessons that we need to take from this. Number one is to spread peace and promote mercy. And this aspect was stressed so much by the family of these victims. This is a reflection of what Islam teaches us. The world does not need any more hate mongers. The world needs love. Our community needs love. Even this congregation needs love. We need love. It's easy to be good to those who pat you on your back. But what about being good to those who talk behind your back? صِلْ مَنْ قَطَعَكْ وَعْفُ عَمَّنْ ظَلَمَكْ وَأَحْسِنْ إِلَى مَنْ أَسَاءَ إِلَيْكَ. Mend ties with those who sever ties with you. Forgive those who oppress you. And be good towards those who are bad with you. This is the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ. The second thing, spend time with your families. Make the moments count, brothers and sisters. Make the moments count, mothers and fathers. Express your love to your family. Make them feel wanted. Let them know that you love them. And when at times you need to set things straight, let them know that you are doing this out of love and concern for them. Make the moments count. Did the parents of these 3 young Muslims know that they were not going to come back home? Did the family start off the week knowing that by Wednesday they are going to be offering their janazah, by Thursday they are going to be leading their funeral prayer? Learn to cherish the moments in your life before they become a memory. Yesterday was history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is the gift. That's why it is called the present. Spend time with your families. If we have children who are out of state, who are at school, call them. If our parents are overseas, call them. Don't let our pride and arrogance get in the way and tell ourselves, you know what? No, I'm going to wait for them to call me. And last but not least, that when we looked into the lives of these 3 people, one of the underlining attributes of their life was they were using their talent and their area of expertise to make a difference. He was a dental student, raising funds to go to Turkey and help address the Syrian refugees who had dental needs. He was in his community raising awareness about dental hygiene, making a difference, feeding the poor. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given each and every single one of us different talents, different areas of expertise. Let us not live life not having made a difference in anyone's life. We are here to serve a bigger purpose, my brothers and sisters, and especially the youth. I will end this khutbah with one saying. You make a living by what you do for yourselves, but you make a life by what you do for others. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.